Hi, I am Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph, and ordinarily I would be saying welcome to 90% Knitting. However, this is not a 90% Knitting episode, nor is it a December extra episode. I am planning to record my next regular episode of 90% Knitting, hopefully tomorrow or Thursday, and I was planning to do at least one more December extra. I will try to get that in. If I don't, it may become a January extra. We'll see how time goes. But today I am here talking to you instead about Fiber Nymph Dye Works related things, because I have something new coming up in 2018 that will be beneficial to my customers, and I thought it was important enough to make a little informational video about it so that you know what's going on. So if you are here looking for regular episode content, I apologize that you won't find it in this episode. However, it will be coming soon. And if you do enjoy using my yarn or my fiber, I really would encourage you to stick around and hear what I have to tell you about, because it could be beneficial to you. So let's get on with that. Again, I am the owner and creative person behind Fiber Nymph Dye Works. My yarn company, my dyeing company, because I do fiber as well, has been operating now for 7 years. Matter of fact, we're coming to the close of our 7th year right now. It started in January of 2011, and my first shop update was in March of 2011, the end of March. So I always consider my business calendar to run January to December. So we're finishing up 7 years, and it's been 7 lovely years. And I want to thank each of you who have been along on this journey with me, because obviously I could not have done it without you, and still cannot do it without you. But yeah, in the 7 years that I've been doing this, I've not offered a program like I'm going to be doing in 2018 for my customers, and I'm super excited about it. I've already posted a pretty long and informative post in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group on Ravelry explaining all of this. But because I know sometimes it's easier to hear about something like this in video form rather than having to read through something first off, I wanted to record about it too. So that's what today is. I'm just going to tell you about this program, which is being called the 2018 Fiber Nymph Dye Works Conversion Rewards Program. I know it's a really long name. It was what seemed best though, because it covers everything. It's happening in 2018. I'm committing to it for the year. We'll see how it goes. And it has to do with my yarn company, Fiber Nymph Dye Works, my dyeing company. And it's going to have to do with giving you the opportunity to convert your Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn or fiber that you have in your stash and reward you by getting you new Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn or fiber, whichever you prefer, or maybe a little bit of both, who knows. So let me tell you about the way this is going to work. Basically, bottom line is it is a customer rewards program, which again, I've never offered one of these. Probably the closest thing I've ever come to was my quarterly finished object drawings I used to do, which is not really the same thing at all. You know, once a quarter, if you posted your finished Fiber Nymph Dye Works objects in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group on Ravelry, you were entered to win a $25 gift certificate to the shop, which has been going on now for several years. I want to say at least 4 or 5 years I've been doing this. This program is actually going to supersede that. There will not be the quarterly drawings next year. This is better, actually. So, yeah, I've not done a customer rewards program before like this. So this is how it's going to work. Okay, I'm going to give you the general overview, then I will tell you all the details. Okay. So general overview is basically for every 50 grams of Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn that you use in a finished object, or 50 grams of Fiber Nymph Dye Works fiber that you spin into yarn, you will earn 10 grams towards either a new skein or a new braid. Okay, that's it. It's that simple. And I am keeping everything in grams. We're not having points. We're not having anything else. It's all going to be measured in grams, because that too will keep things easy for all of us. So essentially, if you are earning 10 grams for every 50 grams you use, once you use up 500 grams of Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn and or fiber, you will have earned 100 grams. Once you earn 100 grams, that gives you the reward of a new 100-gram skein of yarn or a 4-ounce braid of fiber, which 4 ounces, I know that's not grams, but if you convert it, it's about 113 grams. So it's equivalent. Okay, so that's it. That is how you can do this. And I know, I was trying to think, does that sound like a lot? I don't think it does, because I know a lot of you have pretty sizable fiber nymph dye work stashes. You've told me this, and I mean, obviously I see what you guys buy. So I know some of you have a lot of my yarn and fiber on hand. And so I hope this will be a good way to help you use it, because even though I'm really flattered that you love my yarn and you want to hang on to it because it's your special yarn and you don't have the perfect project for it yet, because I have yarns like that too, I really want you to feel like you can use it, because there's always going to be more, and I want to help you get more. So that's what this program is all about. Basically, once you earn that 100 grams, once you've built up that credit, you can cash them in. Or you can wait till the end of the year and see how many you've earned through the whole year and cash them all in at one time. They do have to be cashed in the 100-gram increments. Yeah, we're going to keep that simple too. So full skeins, full braids of fiber. But basically, your yarn and fiber earnings will be awarded to you in the colorways of your choice that are available. So like current club colorways obviously would not be available. Like yarn sets like Nyan Cad, or I don't have too many yarn sets that are, you know, like more than one skein together. Those don't count. But any of my regular colorways that I do, 2 stripes up through 8 stripes, variegated, whatever you want. You can pick it. You can pick the base. It can be any of my regular bases that I carry, yarn bases, all the way from lace weight. Well, actually, see, I don't really carry the lace weight regularly, so let me take that back. Any of my fingering weight bases up through sport, which is traveler, my DK base, my worsted weight base, and my mega chunky base. So any of those yarn bases, you can pick your reward yarn on, or any of my regular fibers that I regularly carry in the shop. You can choose. It's all up to you. So I don't think it gets any better than that when it comes to earning something, right? When you get to say, I want exactly this, and I will dye it up for you, special. Okay, so how do you take part in this? I have my notes here. I can't do this all from memory, so excuse me. On January 1st, 2018, a thread will open in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group. This is very important. You need to be in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group. I would like you to be a member. It doesn't really matter if you're a member as long as you're taking part. That's also sort of a change, because usually for drawings and stuff I say you have to be a member to win, but that's not the case with this, because this is not a drawing oriented thing. This is purely you earning something, and whether you're a group member or not, that does not matter to me. So anyway, but you do need to be able to go to the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group on Ravelry. So you need to at least find that. I will open a thread in there on the discussion boards entitled 2018 FDW Conversion Rewards. That will be a no chatter thread, okay? So when you're ready to post your first qualifying finished object, you're going to start a post in that thread. That post is going to be your post for the entire rest of the year. So please make a note of whatever number your post is. You might want to favorite it so you can find it easily. I mean, I have no idea how many people will take part in this, but I know from past experience in similar kinds of threads, it can get kind of crazy, especially as the year goes on and more people are posting more and more and more you know, projects. The threads get quite long. So it's easier if you can just go to your favorites and click on your post and find it really easily. So that will be your post for all of 2018, and that's where you're going to post all of your qualifying finished objects in that same post by editing it throughout the year, okay? So when you're ready to post a qualifying finished object, you're going to post a picture of that object, you're going to post what yarn you used, and the total grams that you used in that project. And when I say what yarn you used, like you would say bounce. Okay, these are all going to be Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarns. I'll get to that in a minute, but all of this has to be Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn. So you would say like bounce, Candy Mountain, the colorway. Okay, so the yarn base and the colorway name would be acceptable. And then you're going to list the total grams that you used in that project. We're not estimating, has to be exact grams. So you will need to have a digital scale at your disposal that weighs in grams. Okay, let's see. After that, at the end of your post, obviously once you have one item in there, this isn't a big deal, but as you keep adding finished objects, at the very bottom of your post, I would like you to keep a running tally of the grams that you've used in all of the posted qualifying finished objects. We've done this in past, knit-alongs and things too, but for this, you'll do that. There will be your last thing on your post needs to be your running tally. Once you have reached at least 800 grams used, remember that's going to be your minimum needed to earn 100 grams in rewards, which is your minimum reward level. Please message me, either PM me on Ravelry, or you can earburn me in your posts, whatever. You can message me on Ravelry. Excuse me. And I will come and I will verify your math, basically, and your grams. And once I've verified it, I will make a note of that in your thread as the moderator, or in your post in the thread as the moderator, and I will let you know, yes, indeed, huzzah, you have won your first 100-gram reward. I'm not going to promise that I'll say huzzah unless you really want me to. I will huzzah you because I like that word. Anyway, I will let you know, yes, indeed, you have won your 100 grams. Let me know what you want, and we'll take it from there, and I'll get that dyed up and sent out to you as soon as possible after that. Your grams will be cumulative throughout the year, basically, so less any grams that you've redeemed along the way. So, for example, let's say you reach 538 grams, okay? And I have verified that yes, all of your projects add up to that. Then you'll be eligible to convert 500 of those grams into your 100-gram reward. So that's your new skein or braided fiber. But then those remaining 38 grams, they'll still be there. They don't go away. And that'll just be what you'll continue to add to working up to your next reward. So you don't lose anything in this. You can begin taking part in this program at any point in 2018. It does not have to be in January. It just has to be after January 1st or after. Of course, the earlier you start participating in it, then the more chances you have to earn grams towards new fiber or yarn. So let's talk now about what constitutes a qualifying finished object. All finished objects have to be started on or after January 1st of 2018, with one exception. I decided to make this an exception because I know this is probably going to affect several people. A lot. I wouldn't say a lot, but I know several people. There's probably more that I don't know about. If you started a Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn project or fiber project between December 24th and December 31st, 2017, so if you did a Christmas cast on with a skein of my yarn or a sock blank, or if you're, finally getting around to spinning up your holiday mini sets or something this week during the holiday season, it'll count. I'm letting that be an exception just because, I didn't have information about this project out prior to that, or this program prior to that, and I know people may have waited and held off on some things if they would have known that it was starting. So I'm going to let that be okay. Anything from December 24th up through the 31st of 2017, that will count, as long as it's not finished until after January 1st, 2018. Okay, you still have to be working on it in the new year. Okay, also, current stash. How are we defining that? Basically, it's any Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn or fiber that you have in possession at any point during 2018. If you possess it, it is your stash. If it's something that you purchased new during 2018, it becomes part of your stash. That is part of your current stash, and yes, it counts and you can use it. All finished objects for this project, for this program, have got to be created using only Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn or fiber. Anything made with like a mix of Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn, no matter how little of some other yarn, will not qualify. I'm sorry. For this one, it has to be Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn specifically. Yarn FOs can be made through knitting, crocheting, or weaving. Those will all qualify. And because this is not meant to be a competition between crafters, I am going to use, or I am going to allow the use of like circular knitting machines, like sock knitting machines and things like that. I've had that question in past knit-alongs and such, and that was more of a competition thing that put people at an unfair advantage. But this is just you seeing what you can earn for yourself. You're not in competition. It does not harm anyone else. Everybody gets to earn as much as they can. I'll be happy to reward everybody for as much as they can earn throughout 2018. So all that to say, sock knitting machines or, the circular knitting machines are allowable. Fiber qualifies once it's spun into yarn. That is how it qualifies. So if you have a braid of fiber and you spin it into yarn, you're going to weigh your finished skein of yarn, and those are the grams that count. Projects knit with that yarn afterwards are not going to qualify for a second entry this time around. I know it used to in the quarterly finished object drawings, but this time around we're not doing that. It's just the spinning of the fiber that will count. Okay, projects need to be weighed prior to the addition of any embellishments such as like buttons or zippers or like fur or fun fur pom-poms. Please weigh them before you add any of that stuff. It just needs to be the yarn or fiber as it is in its finished object stage. If you are embellishing now with a yarn pom-pom or a tassel or some kind of decorative stitching that you're using Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn for, then that totally counts. So, if you're putting a regular yarn pom-pom on a hat, yes. As long as, you're not going crazy and like your pom-pom weighs half of what the hat does, it has to be, I think I said it can't be any more than like 10% of the item's finished weight. Obviously, I'm not going to know that for sure, but I'm going on the honor system here. To that end, also, like I said, you have to have a digital scale at your disposal in order to weigh the actual grams of your project used. You're not going to just like say, oh, well, I used most of that skein and it was a 100-gram skein. No, I really need you to weigh your projects. The weights are obviously going to be accepted on the honor system. There's no way I can check that or anything. But I do reserve the right to verify the weight of things if I think something seems like a little out of the line with the norm. Like if you knit like a regular sized beanie and you're claiming it used 200 grams of yarn, I'm probably going to question that because I know how much a beanie takes to use, for being knit. So, I'll call you on it if I think something's a little odd, because it could have just been a typo too, and that happens. But I assume the best in people, and so we're going to go with that. But just know I have the right to ask a question if I need to. And for fiber, you are, again, weighing the finished skein of yarn because, there's waste when you spin. There's waste when you knit too. You're trimming ends and things like that. So, okay. I will say now there will be some additional parts to this, and one of it is bonus grams. I will be offering opportunities throughout the year for you to win bonus grams. That'll help you towards your endeavor of earning your new yarn or fiber even faster. And the best ways, actually the only ways you're going to be able to find out about bonus grams are to follow the Fiber Nymph Dye Works account on Instagram, like the Fiber Nymph Dye Works page on Facebook, and be sure to watch the shop news segment of the 90% Knitting podcast. Those are the 3 places that I will offer bonus grams. I will probably not offer the same bonus gram offer in all 3 places at the same time. So even if you are just following one of those things, you will eventually have a chance to do the bonus grams or take advantage of them. But if you do watch all 3, then you'll have that many more chances to get them. Again, they're just going to be random. I'll do them when I feel like, oh, it would be fun to do those today. So just watch for that. I don't know. I have a lot of ideas of how to make this really fun throughout the year. I would love this to be interactive. While the thread that you're posting all of your projects in is going to be a no chatter thread, the thread that I started with all of the the guidelines and everything in it already, that can definitely be a chatter thread, and I would love for you to use it as a chatter thread if you would like to. I think it would be a lot of fun to do that. Let's see, what else? By the way, if you don't regularly watch the podcast and you just happened upon this video today, you can find it on YouTube, which is probably, I'm going to say, where you might have found it, or it's also on iTunes. So if you want to watch the podcast, the regular episodes, those are the two places that you can find them. On social media, especially Instagram, please, and in Ravelry, please tag any projects. Like if you're posting pictures of projects that you're working on that will be going into your finished object post, tag them. The tag for this project is going, or this program, I don't know why I keep calling it a project. The tag for this program is going to be hashtag FDWConversions 2018. Conversion, singular, conversion. To FDWConversion 2018. I know, that's crazy long. I'm sorry again, but it seemed like it would be a good one to use just because it's not being used by anybody else for anything. So be sure to use that tag, because that might be one of the ways I award bonus grams throughout the years if I see that hashtag places. Okay, I've already mentioned that this program is superseding the FiberNymph Dye Works quarterly finished object drawing. So the one that will happen for this final quarter of 2017, that's going to be the last one I award, which will happen in the first 90% knitting episode in January. Let's see what else. Oh, this is sort of related. If you are looking to add to your FiberNymph Dye Works stash before the end of this year, before the program starts, I will let you know, and I mentioned this on the last regular episode as well, that my end of year sale is beginning tomorrow. I do this every year between Christmas and New Year's, and this year's sale is beginning tomorrow, Wednesday the 27th, and running through New Year's Day, which is January 1st, obviously. I currently have the coupon code for that advertised as year-end 20. So that's good for 20% off anything that you want to order this week if it's in the shop, or even, like special order, custom order things you can use it for. However, if you are planning to take part in this upcoming program, I'm going to offer you your first little bonus. It's not really a bonus gram because nobody's started with their posts yet, but I'm going to offer you a little bit of a bonus. Instead of using that code, feel free to use FDWCRP, Conversion Rewards Program 25. So FDWCRP 25, and that will take 25% off your order instead of just 20 that the other one will give you. I'm not advertising that code anywhere else. I'm not even going to put it in show notes for this episode, so you're only going to get that one if you've watched this little video. That's just a little bonus from me to you to help get you started for your 2018 program. Yeah, so that's it. That is everything. If you have any questions about anything I talked about for this program, please feel free to either post them again in the Ravelry thread about the program, or PM me on Ravelry, or feel free to email me, fibernymph@gmail.com, and I will be sure to reply as soon as possible and clarify anything. And if I need to add any clarifications to the written out, rules and guidelines, I will, because inevitably I forget something. So, and you guys always bring it to my attention. But if I can clarify anything, I will do so. So thank you for taking the time to watch this. I really appreciate it. And again, I really appreciate your interest in my yarn and my fiber. I so enjoy what I do. I say this all the time. I love what I do for a living. But if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have a reason to do it. So thank you so much for being there and for being a part of my business. And I hope that we can enjoy 2018 together, because I cannot wait to see the things that you craft with your FiberNymph Dye Works stash, both old and new. So take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.